Isaac here.
Dolly here.
It's good to be back. Okay, facts.
We'll be back again.
I love this effort. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Guys.
That Busybody remix was every time.
Have we
Okay.
started? Okay.
It was so good. I loved it.
How did that song start again?
That's what I just said. We'll be back again.
Oh.
The remix. With your busybody. That's not how it was going. That's not the remix.
Original one.
That's the original one. With your busybody. Everybody. And then they say, no, see, day. And you see everybody, this is the remix.
Too much energy. I actually don't think I remember that one. Mm-hmm. The one I do remember was the
original.
Yeah, the original one. And then they roll it, whatever that they did that time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Hi guys. Welcome to episode 244 of the Road to 30 podcast. Isaac here.
Dolly here.
And today we want to make some announcements, casual announcements actually.
Yeah.
For those of you that are listening. Mm-hmm. So let's take it from the top. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so from the top, we're going to first of all say, you guys can now see us, which I think is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, we want to, I wouldn't say we're hiring, but on LinkedIn, they will say we need rock stars, right? So we need rock star members to join our team.
Mm-hmm.
We need somebody that can handle, what's that thing they call it? Social media. So I've been on Twitter a lot and LinkedIn, and they've been telling me that apparently a marketing person is different from a social media person, which is different from a content creator. So we need somebody, a rock star that can do all three.
Isn't that a rock star?
And we'll pay in exposure and petrol. Now, as a Nigerian, you know that petrol is very, very, very expensive now. So we can cover the petrol aspect of it. I'm not doing that. Dolapo will pay you in petrol. I will pay you with support.
You guys can see the person that is talking.
I will pay you with support and all that I can.
Okay.
So we need that. We also need somebody that will hold our hand and take us to places like Amazon or places like Spotify, places like GT Bank. Places that will give us, and they will come and meet us and say, okay, you guys, you know what? We'll give you $300,000 over 2 years, right, to continue this thing. We need somebody that will do that. So in essence, we need a talent manager and a general manager, really, for the pod. If that is you, and you're a rock star that meets all these things.
She's not a rock star.
Yes, now you have to add the rock star part. Send in your CV or just shoot us a DM, really. And that would really go a long way. What else do we need? I think that might be it, right? Is there any other thing we need?
Oh, okay. So this episode is, you're going to be hearing it it's not going to be on a regular day that would typically.
Oh yeah.
This particular one.
People
should be happy. It's like 2 in a week. So this one is coming out.
Yeah, this one will come out.
Well, you're already hearing it.
You're here now, so welcome back.
Well, hi.
Hi. So there's going to be a little bit of changes to our schedule. So a little bit, because the people that are helping us do this, we also have to take them into consideration. Even though I said I want to intern, they didn't answer me. But, if you're watching it and you're part of the people that's behind this, making this happen, I'm still open for internship. I want to learn too. I'm bringing my services. Now I'm the rock star and I'm coming. So, so that's just it for our OG listeners, because we don't want you guys to keep dragging us. So we're being very open in Isaac and Dolly fashion with you guys.
Yes.
Is there any other thing we want to run through?
No.
In that sense? Okay. Nope. So that's it. Welcome to today's episode 244. First of all, clap. 244. Mm-hmm. That's amazing stuff, because we have been doing this for a while.
A long time.
And I'm proud of you, actually.
Oh, yeah. I'm proud of you too.
Yeah. It's not easy, but we're making it work.
That's
we know the country is difficult, but
we're making it work. Best.
Yeah, so let's get into the episode. Should I start with how I've been, or do you want to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
So, guys, after what year are we in? 2024. Mm-hmm. It took me 10 years, but I finally finished the DC animated universe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I think it was 11 years in total. So it's they only just released what's that movie called? The last one in the list was Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3.
Is Madam Web in DC?
No, that's something else.
I don't know.
But yeah, I just finished that and it made me...
animated.
Yeah, the animated
not
universe.
like...
Yeah, not the actual movie. No. Those ones are trash.
Because I was going to say that I've heard that 10 different they are not
Superman
the best.
And nah. But yeah, it took me 10 years and I'm happy that I have. It was so beautiful. I almost cried at the end of it because I think 6 years ago, they finished the first part before the Tomorrowverse. And I saw John Constantine, one of my favorites. And then he appeared again at the end. And the whole thing was beautiful because 10 years of like different animations made sense, right? And it was just so emotional. And I was like, this is actually really beautiful. So yeah, that made...
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. And to all of us that have been following. Shout out to you guys. What else did I get up to this week? So you guys know I've been joking about my OnlyFans. I did a topless photo shoot. Did you see it?
I don't want to see it.
For anybody interested, I did a topless photo shoot too. And I think it was beautiful. It's currently, I don't have the boldness to post it on Insta yet. But the person that, like the photographer, he tagged me in some. Like the shots that was like, okay, we can put these out. But the other ones, I'm testing the waters. So, yeah, I'm thinking...
Isaac, stop talking about this only. I don't like
Okay.
Stop talking about this OnlyFans. You're really going to do it.
No, I'm not doing it. But I did do a topless photo shoot, which I thought was really cool. I thought it was really nice.
I don't believe you.
I'll show you after. No, I don't. I won't show you. You don't want to see what?
No, I'm saying that like I really do feel like it's true. Like Alex said, it's true. You might actually end up doing this OnlyFans.
At the end of the day, wouldn't you be happy to see when OnlyFans is publishing top creators of the year in Nigeria? Wouldn't you want to see my name there?
I feel like when you're looking, that might make it a little worse.
In fairness,
but hey,
in fairness, Sha, I think it's not. I don't think it's that bad. It's fun.
I mean, depending on what
depending on what
you're
doing,
putting
really,
on there.
Yeah. What else did I get up to this week? Do you know this guy DJ James that does Culture FM? He does like this mixtape thing on YouTube where you just like a bunch of people dancing in the back and a DJ is playing. That's Culture FM's thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I listened to D James. He has this Afrobeats mix, which I think I recommend to anybody listening. It was beautiful.
So really. I'm not like a big fan of like DJ mixes.
Why?
I'd rather listen to like... So I only like it if I were like at a party. So like if I was at a party, it makes sense. If I was like at a... just like an event, a gathering, it makes sense. But to just sit down and listen to it on its own, I'd rather just listen to the song. Like that. I mean, but that's just like a
that
personal
used to
thing.
Be me until I was working and I started listening to it in the back. And it just helped. And then also maybe because of the park, because over Christmas I was playing a lot of DJ mixes. I think it has just subconsciously, I'm okay with it now. So if I'm working or at the gym, I can just have it sometimes. For variation, But don't get me wrong, though, sometimes like there was one DJ, it was like a female DJ, I think. I saw a mix that she did. Not like the full mix, but like I saw the way she was scratching and mixing. The way she like transitioned into like a song that I was not expecting her to. And I was like, that is fire. Facts. So like when I see like stuff like that, like I admire like the skill because for you that's like so the thing that caught me with this D James one was that he was transitioning based on the words. In, like so like somebody can be like away in a song and next thing I switched it. So it was really cool and just paying attention to that because you're thinking, okay, what song is it going to play? Okay, next? I can see how like watching that would be entertaining. Yeah, it was entertaining. Yeah, and then also I think people watching is fun when you're just looking at other people dancing to something. You're like, hey, I've done that move too. Hey, and you're busting move. Yeah, you should go for one of them now. I genuinely do. I was asking what's his name last week, like if there's anybody in Nigeria doing one that can just show up with my my those of us that don't drink. I just have my colored cup at the back, just bopping. You know the one I want to do. What's have you seen this channel on YouTube called Cruise? Is it that one where my sister told me to sign up, where they do different things that they can bring like your they can say guys talk to their dads. Yeah. My sister told me to sign up to that. So, I think I've mentioned this on the pod before. Like they I mean, obviously they give credit, so which is great. But they base this off of, oh my God, what's their name? Is it like an American content thing?
Yeah, so pretty much what they are doing on Cruise is pretty much what that channel does. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, the name is like at the tip of my.
I think I know who you're talking about.
But yeah,
the set is black. Is it that one?
Yes, I think the set is black.
Yeah, people be on different couches and they're like, do you believe in this? Walk
forward. Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes. So like, and then Cruise like does theirs. I kind of like signed up to get like their emails, so I can see if there's anyone that like
the one that they have
enough.
currently. I don't want to do
the one with father's son.
No, it was sons and mothers.
Yeah,
and I don't want to do
I don't want to do the one where I have to bring anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to bring my parents on camera.
Yeah, I don't want to bring anybody. I just want to show up for opinions.
Also,
let's fight.
Exactly. Also, I cannot deal with the repercussion of if my mom says something and I have to now be on the internet defending.
Yeah,
no, because it will pain me. Because I know if it was someone else's mom, I would insult. So it's like it's actually paying me.
I don't know if I want to do like I mean, me, I'm open. You understand? Like we're talking about like all those things, but my parents will never want to. You don't want to have those type of conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And I also don't want people to know how my parents think publicly. I don't want to expose. No, they're cool people. They are. I don't want to expose them to this internet. Yeah. I don't need that.
It's true.
Another thing I got up to this week. Do you watch Alien?
No. Is that a show?
No, it's a movie, cinematic universe, actually. There's one in cinemas right now, Romulus. No? So basically, I started the Alien series, movie, cinema, blah, 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 from beginning. So if anyone is interested, the order is AVP. Have you heard of Aliens vs. Predator?
I'm not interested. Like, this is like so far from my interest.
Okay, well, fair.
No. What do you think? What, you think it has to do with like what?
No, like, I wouldn't see you watching horror and enjoying it.
Nah.
Exactly. But this is horror. So if you're interested, Chai, is AVP, then AVP 2, then Prometheus, then Covenant, then Alien, then Romulus, then Aliens, then Alien 3, and then Alien Resurrection. Currently, I'm on Alien, and it's beautiful because it makes sense.
The horror is beautiful.
No, the horror is beautiful. Like, it's about engineered, like, dog-like species that are attacking the Earth. Is set in the year 2104. Jesus. And stuff like that. It's beautiful.
But is it horror though, or is it like?
It's Ridley Scott.
Is that horror? Because like that sounds like one of these like post-apocalyptic.
Actually, I get. But it is what's that thing called?
But it's like scary. Like
it's scary.
Make you
it's
shout.
Not jump scares. You shout.
I beg.
It's not gore. It's just like jump scares and like storytelling and stuff.
I don't get
camera
horror.
work and stuff like that. I mean, I've always loved horror, so
I don't get
it. Yeah,
I don't understand why I want to be afraid. Like things already happen in this world that is scary. I
get. Sure. Also, since we've been away, guys, I realized that we've not spoken about the Olympics that happened.
I don't have anything to say about the Olympics.
Me too,
I really didn't.
Other than the fact that actually I do have something to say.
Okay.
You see the Paralympics.
Okay.
I have a different level of respect for the athletes at the Paralympics. So I paid attention to it, and it made me realize that to an extent, I don't really have excuses in a way, right? For certain things I haven't done. Because I saw people who couldn't walk, who were weightlifting. I saw this one-legged guy who was doing high jump. I have 2 legs, I can't do high jump. Like, it's not like it's almost like it shows you that anything is actually possible, right? Oh, yes. I saw this archer who has no arms. I saw an archer with one hand.
Oh, wow. Bro. That is dope.
And like, I get, like, shout out to the Olympic athletes, but I respect Paralympic athletes more. And that's just me. Because, bro, the things these people overcome to do stuff, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, like, I was paying attention to it and I'm like, yeah, like this is a different level of motivation. 100% respect them. 100% respect them.
Definitely. It's always nice to see like someone who has had like maybe if it's like physical challenges or whatever kind of challenge and is able to like push through that.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. It's easy to want to sit back and feel sorry for yourself.
Facts.
And I say that because even like for just a regular person, even like for me, myself, sometimes when things are going bad, like how things are in Nigeria right now, sometimes you just want to almost like sit back and feel sorry for yourself.
I try to stay clear of
but that's why like I I try not to think about too much. So like when you see people that are able to like push through, it's very inspirational.
No, I feel you.
So shout out to them.
Shout out to them, yeah. And also while we're away, they seized our presidential jets.
Oh, for real? I think I heard something like that, but I didn't know that they actually seized
No, they actually did. Like we were owing China money, and they were like, bet, and they took the jets. And I don't know what happened. I think they've released it now, but it was just hilarious to see that a sovereign state, they can be like, don't worry, we'll come. And they took the jet and were begging. But you know, alas, where we are, Sha.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's how I've been. How have you been?
I've been fine. What did I do this week? This week was, I think I was just trying to finish up like a last bit of work. And that took, I was like up till very late last night. It's been a while since I've done like, you know, when you're working from morning and then you into the night, it's night. But I was so determined to finish it because I have to finish this like right now.
So you're on a deadline.
So the thing is
your boss going to call you a rock star when you finish?
My boss is actually very sweet. She's very, but I think my time with her is coming to an end.
Okay.
It's about to end. So I knew that even if like, so for example, let's say it ended, obviously I will still have to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I think, you know, I won't have complained about that at all because it's something I'm supposed to have finished. But I wanted to like end it, and I just also didn't want her to have to ask about, you know when it gets annoying when it's like, oh, okay,
how far,
like, bro,
you don't want to have to follow up,
you don't want to have to like be in that way, like it's been, so I was like, I need to make sure that I get this done like as soon as possible.
I feel
so I took all the time, and it took a lot of time, but we
when I saw
finished.
your message this morning, I was worried. I was like, bro, why are you just going to bed?
Bro, it was crazy.
Like,
it was crazy. I don't even know how. That's why I told you that. I told Ice to call me if you hadn't heard from me at a particular time, because that kind of sleep, man. You know when you do like a 2-3 hour sleep?
Yeah, it can
that's
easily.
That kind of sleep.
It can easily. That's the type that was that one. You know when this thing came?
What?
The oil people. The one that overslept. That's that kind of sleep. You know that kind of sleep when you've been working.
That's so funny.
No, it's true. When you've been working and like, let me just you know. And before you know it, it's 6 p.m.
Bruh.
No, facts,
so and then so I've been some of the stuff, because you know when we're working on the film, there was a lot. I wasn't really watching anything. So now I've been.
Now you're watching?
Yeah, what I've been watching recently. Huh?
No. Like now you're watching the movie back.
The what?
Like the sets. Like you're done with the set, so now you're watching
it. Oh no, not that. Me, I'm even talking about like something else. General. Like I'm saying, me, I normally watch stuff, but like I didn't get a chance. So I've been back watching like stuff. I've been watching Community, which is hilarious. Okay. Community is a comedy.
Okay.
Like a sitcom.
Okay.
It came out 2000 and something.
Okay.
It has Danny Glover, Childish Gambino.
It's not the same
Childish
person.
Gambino.
No, it's not the same person. That's a running joke.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Danny Glover. Yeah, exactly.
It's not Childish Gambino.
Exactly. It has oh my god, I don't know. Okay, her name is Yvette Nicole Brown, I think. It's almost like one of those people that you know her face, but you don't think of her name.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I always heard people talk about it. So I just finished the first season. And I would say like it's definitely top tier comedy. Like it's about like them in a community school.
Okay.
It's funny.
Okay.
I used to hear people talk about it all the time, and I was like, community, what is that? And I you know, I like Danny Glover's like I like his stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think like it's always really good. So I was like, if he's inside it, maybe. So I watched like the first couple of episodes. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was okay. It took me a minute, like, to really get into it. But when I started getting into it, it was like everything was like so funny to me. I don't know how the other seasons are going to go, of course, but as of right now, I can say that it's good. I like it a lot.
You know what gave me that response was this movie, not movie, Abbott.
I love
Abbott Elementary, yeah. But the first 2 episodes, I was like, But then, like when I got through it, I was laughing.
Abbott is
like
hilarious.
I was genuinely cackling. Like it's like,
yeah,
you can't be serious. Like this just happened, and you're looking at the camera. Like I want to be in something like that. Well, you know when dumb stuff happens, and you're just there like,
I they're looking for the camera.
Exactly, it's like
am I being pranked? Am I being pranked? But Abbott is really good. And then there's this show called The Mentalist, which I watched years ago. Yeah, I've watched it before.
Yeah.
I was curious about it again. It's been years since I watched it, so I wanted to rewatch it and see how I felt about it now.
I have a take from The Mentalist that changed my life.
What's that?
There was this episode where he talked about a memory place. A place that you know so well.
Oh, yes.
That you can replace with certain things and you would always remember those things. It was one of the few things I've seen in a movie that has helped me in life because it helps. Like, I have a place in my head that I know literally everything about that place. So when I want to learn something new, I replace things in that place.
But how does that work? Because even when he was saying it, because I recently, that was on an episode I saw recently. And that was even in the first season. So that means that
I took that. I took that thing to heart, and for life, it's been.
I haven't completely understood that. So when you say that you have a place in your head, what does that mean?
Okay, so let's take for instance, right, this studio that we're in, right? Okay. Let's assume you want to my Isaac hair. Oh, oops. Careful. My Isaac hair cup, for instance, right? You can if you know, okay, the cup is here, the cup is black. The chairs are here, the chairs are whatever color. The mic is here, the mic is whatever color. And you know it down to a T. That if you closed your eyes and entered, the cup is here, I can sit here. So when you're learning something new, like let's say you want to learn, okay, who are the presidents of Nigeria from a certain time to time. Let's say we pick the last three. The current guy, the previous guy, and
the
Jonathan,
one before that guy.
And Jonathan. Right? So you can be like, okay, so to always remember that Jonathan was the third guy. When I enter the room, the third thing I see is the mic. So, Jonathan, do you get? Okay. When I enter the room, the first thing I see is the table. So, the current guy, first, Tinubu. That type of vibe. Okay. So, that's the way it worked for me since then. Okay. So, whenever I want to learn a new thing, that's how I
you go to a room that you know very well.
And I replace stuff. And real talk, it has always helped me.
Really?
It's like the only thing I took away from The Mentalist till today that I'm like, yeah, that was a good show.
But aside from that, did you like the show?
Yeah, it was decent.
I thought it was good.
At some point, it was starting to drag. It was, I don't know. I stopped after a while because it was a bit ridiculous.
It's like one of those, so that's what happens. And that's why sometimes you don't want a show to go on for so long.
Yeah, facts.
Because, it can tend to get to a very... Mentalist is like Castle. They have almost a similar type of premise. Do they really have consultants like that? Do they? I mean, I'm sure they do. But anyway, I like the idea that you can, if with observation, and you can pretty much understand what a person's motivations or how a person I think that's a real thing.
No, it is. It makes sense. The episode where he was talking about they were trying to find out if a man was a police officer or something. He slapped a book on the table and the guy's instinct was to draw for his gun. And I was like, yeah, that's how I knew it was. And I'm like, those kind of things sort of make sense. Like if you go to a party with your friend who is into art or music or something, we're paying attention to why is the graphic like this? Or your sound friend is like, this speaker is off. All those little kind of things.
I would love that's like a superpower I would love to have.
It is. It's also what drove me, right? When I was in uni, I had this friend that was studying sound design for cinema. So she was the one who told me the best places to sit when you want to maybe maximize visuals versus sound. And you have to offset from the center a little bit to get the right. So things like that people learn. Yeah. If you know those little kind of things, it helps you to...
Interesting.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
the world is interesting.
Anyway, other than the fact that they increased fuel.
Yeah. Let's take a moment of silence for cars. Very unfortunate.
I was telling Isaac the other day, I said that we've had 300 naira bump or something.
Yeah.
And even last year, we're not even paying that for fuel. No. We're not even paying 300 naira for 1 liter. No. And now here we are. I'm sure the ones that when they were paying 45 naira at that time.
Yeah, now they thought they were ready to march against it. But even speaking of fuel, this is not to say, because I realized recently that the richest man in Africa he has turned into founder mode. So this is not to say that you guys should mistakenly drink Dangote fuel and call it water, please. I know he's shouting that thing is clean. But just out of curiosity, I went and I researched that does this really mean anything? And guess what?
What?
It turns out that the color of PMS is not a... Wait, I wrote it down because I had to be very sure. It's not a definitive measure of the quality.
Right.
But it made me also understand the importance of propaganda. Because all this man has been doing was he has been holding bottles saying, see? Mama said, see? And I'm like, bro, I get it. If I invested that much, I would do the same. But bro, like, so it turns out, right, that you should actually be paying more attention to octane rating and chemical composition, right? I don't want to go into the blah, blah, blah. It was interesting to read. But when I was reading it, and the first thing they said was, please understand that color is not a definitive measure of quality. And I'm like, so why is Baba just... Every time I see him, he just has his bottle there, like, as I see, I just look at the color. And everybody is taking it on. Everybody is just taking it like, hey, you know, but each to their own, the forecast.
Each their own, I be to each their own.
To each their own, the forecast.
I'm at the point where I almost feel like, you know, there was a time when I used to say that, like, you know, and I still maintain this. Obviously, not everybody will be able to leave Nigeria, no, you know, and some people, don't get me wrong, are living in Nigeria and working here and doing well. It might not be a lot of people, but there are some. Like, there are some, because there are some big companies here. And people are, you know, really, really like...
doing okay.
Yeah, some people are doing okay. In fact, I recently heard of a company where the babe, like, she does not have to pay, like, for... Like, so pretty much they pay her boats.
Oh.
So she doesn't even have to... So this fuel matter now that we're talking about is not something that she would have to, like, concern her like that.
Yeah.
Right? They constantly, like, you know, provide them, like, with food, with what to eat. Like, I mean, that's just one of the perks. That's just part of it. It's not the whole thing. Yeah. But I was just saying that, like, and she's earning okay from what I understand, right? You know, and it's like, some people are benefiting from that, which is fair.
I mean,
But, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
If the opportunity presents itself,
God,
like,
where
I
you
wouldn't
going
be...
with this? That you what?
I mean,
okay, you're now leaning towards Japa.
I am.
Fair.
I am, because, like, I do feel like where there was a time where, and I still have hope.
So you're no longer pro-Nigeria.
I still am. I always will be.
But you're now going to be those pro-Nigerians with Nigerian flag in their
profile. To be honest, it's not even about that. I think what it is about is just that, like, we're just at a point where one is getting older and older, and it just seems like one is getting harder to, like, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So it to me, it's not even about, like, the whole, like, general thing. It's just when you're just getting to a certain point in your life, you want to be able to... It's crazy, because at one point, I remember this scene from a Nollywood movie so well.
Yeah.
So well.
Is it old Nollywood?
Old Nollywood. Lillian Bach was in this movie. And Jimmy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they were getting married.
My guy Jim.
You know,
please, that's even to say, Sha. If you guys have any contact with Jimmy, please, I would love to have Jimmy on this podcast. I love him so much. He's a fundamental part of my childhood.
That's the original bad boy.
What?
Anyway, so I remember this so well. So they were getting married, and then, you know, so she's all about all this. She wants to, you know, the wedding. She's planning the wedding, and then she tells Jimmy that she wants to buy this wedding dress, and Jimmy is like, "How much is the wedding dress?" She said 180,000. Say 180,000.
I can see his reaction. I can see him.
What is on it, Seth? You know. Jim. That's I remember. I don't know why I remembered it so much, but I think at the time it was like, oh wow, a wedding dress for 180,000 naira. That's a lot. Now come to. I'm sure 2024 Dolly was looking at that girl like.
I wanted to buy hard drive. Hard drive. They said 225k. Hard drive, not phone. Hard drive, 225k.
So yeah, so I'm just at the point. Obviously, at the end of the day, because I think when it comes to Japan, sometimes people want to do anything to Japan, and I'm not of that reasoning. I feel like going abroad still is like there's you won't just enter and everything would like be fine.
Fall in place, yeah.
Everything is not going to fall in place, and I think that sometimes like that is the mentality that maybe is pushed out there, which is why like I've always been one of those people that said that, you know, like don't just, you know, So you are still going to have to put in a certain level of amount of work. You are still going to have to adjust like a new environment. There's still so much that comes with it. So much.
For sure.
There's so much that would also still be like left behind because you might be by yourself if you don't have like, people. And that loneliness is something else. You understand? So I do feel like if you do want to do it, you need to. It is, Isaac.
Peut-être pas.
It is, Isaac. Let me tell you, I've heard of people.
I just spoke French. Did you catch it?
So I caught it.
Okay.
But I've heard of some people who like after like they when they are there and they're just it feels like it can be like something that is choking you.
No, of course. Like pour moi.
Okay, so yeah, okay. Okay.
No.
But I feel you shall carry on.
I should actually start doing that. She starts speaking French. Pour moi, je ne suis...
I beg, please speak English.
Okay. Pour moi, je ne sais pas. For me, I don't know. I think ça dépend. For example. Okay, for example, right? I don't know why I'm doing that. Don't mind me, sorry. But here's the thing. I think if you have a solid plan,
right, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you have it, you have to have a plan, not the one that you will figure it out when you get there.
No, that one is risky. And also
very risky.
Looking at the time that I have dedicated to furthering my cause, or my cause of being a patriot. There's damn near nothing to show for it. And that's my 20s.
Were you really trying to be like, were you trying to be a patriot?
I really wasn't.
Because this Isaac does not like this country.
No, I don't. No, but there was a switch. I did believe in this country before. But now,
I still do. It's just...
I think I would rather be in a position where by the time the country is good, I can take advantage of that. Right now, the way it is the purchase, I don't have money. So even if Nigeria was to become good today, I won't benefit from it because I still don't have the money or the resources or anything to make an impact. But if you were to go abroad and work for a bit, right, then you can be like, okay, well, even if Nigeria is now saying, oh, there's opportunity to do poultry, which is something people who jackpot love to do. I can actually say, okay, let me bring my own 10,000.
There's a lot of work.
Bro, have you heard the stories that people have?
I've heard horror stories. Jesus.
The other day, my mom got eggs from Oyo State. If you see the size of these eggs, Dolapo. And then this was the first time I understood how painful it was to be a farmer.
Yeah, so it's not easy.
She brought these eggs, 2 crates, huge. And then we woke up the next day and about 6 eggs had spots. I wanted to cry.
That's
this
so
was
sad.
Just me that was even on the end of it. Now imagine how farmers react to when things like that.
It's a lot.
I wanted to cry.
And then they also have to take care of like the animals. And the stuff that you need to take care of the animals. Prices keep on changing. It's just...
Nah, it's not. I mean, I say all this to say, Shada, on the jackpot thing, personally, I think if you can, it's better to at least know that you tried and try from a different environment, be in a better position to then take advantage. For instance, all the people who are buying all these houses in Lekki, Ekpe, and all these places, they do road shows abroad. We that were here, how many of us can actually go there and do it? But when you've been abroad for a bit, you can then say, okay, small change I have, let me take it.
But I definitely advocate for investing back in Nigeria, like as a Nigerian. I advocate for it simply because I feel like a lot of times it's easier to just say, okay, I'm leaving this country and leaving it behind. But the truth of the matter is, and the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, it's where your roots are. And Nigeria would not become better if everybody is saying bye. Like, I'm not saying bye as in the jackpot part, but saying like bye as in I don't want to deal with that country no more. I don't it's how like a place. So you know I've been playing Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2. No, let me tell you. I already know a major spoiler.
Okay. Don't spoil it because I've still not
I won't spoil it, but I already know a major spoiler. But getting there, it's like it's like my heart. But one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is like, so you get to see like the Native Americans, right? So this is like in the
back in like that far.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost at the end actually.
Okay.
So you see like the Native Americans and you pretty much see how they were. Like, it's almost like playing this game, I understand that, man, these people were really cheated. Like, I know it. It's just seeing it. It's like, dang. Like, these people were really, really cheated out of their land, out of like their everything. Yeah. And now they are not as much anymore. And that's what I think about. I mean, us, we're always plenty.
No, we are plenty. Speaking of plenty, did you see that our greatest export is an Igbo man's penis? Wait, when I saw that stuff, I thought it was a joke. But when the people started naming the mixed race kids under the Nigerian Vietnamese, Igbo, Nigerian Japanese, Igbo, Nigerian Taiwanese, Igbo, Nigerian Korean, Igbo, and I'm just like, hands up to these guys. Like, whoa.
But I even heard that they said that in one very cold place in Russia, you would see Nigerians are so like everywhere that you see. Yes,
I'm not surprised.
Yes, I mean we're plenty already, but anyway, my whole point is that like I feel like if one can, because when you have gotten to a certain point where things are okay, invest back so that like ultimately at the end of the day, this place will get better, because we can't just be sitting down and allowing like people that just want to keep on exploiting exploiting.
I get.
I don't want us to abandon here. Like here is still important. Like this is our home.
I
should treat your home well.
100% get you. Mm-hmm. It's just like as time goes on, I'm of the opinion, like for instance, if I was to japa now of my father's friends, right? If you've been abroad for like 25, 30 years, it becomes difficult to come back.
I'm not even saying come back.
You can invest.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You also have to be careful of your investments because this is a low trust environment. So there's a lot. Like personally, I think the one thing I would enjoy when I japa, is the purchasing power.
Okay,
I think if I give myself a long enough period, I'll be able to buy my way into non-executive director of a company on the stock exchange.
Mad.
I think I'll be able to do that because if you invest long enough, as long as the money keeps getting worse, which it most likely will, it means that you can keep. And obviously, I'm probably not doing it for profit. I'm just doing it so that I can say, this company has announced Isaac Adekanye has not. So I think that's an achievable dream over like 20 years abroad. But here,
definitely. Definitely. And one of the other reasons why I also think investing back is also good, not just for the betterment of this place, but again, when you are away from so there's this like you saw what was, I don't even know if it's still ongoing, but you saw what was going on like in the UK not too long ago.
Oh yeah, that stuff in
Hull, I was very surprised and very shocked where they were like the whole thing about wanting it. I was very surprised because, the UK has always been like, such a melting pot. But ever since Brexit, ever since Trump, dare I say, like, I feel like there has been like a certain energy in the air to say, oh yeah, we don't want to deal with anybody, like, go. Like, the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, you can be in a country and one day you will wake up and they will say, oh, these niggas are not needed here no more.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a valid thing.
Yeah, and so like I just think that like even though like it doesn't make any sense to me because as long as somebody is moving and moving like with all the legalities and things like that, I don't understand why
I get that, but there's also
But like I just feel like you should just at least work on your own home so that if someone is trying to like send you out of theirs,
at least your father's, they know if you kick you out of your papa's
Thank
house.
You understand what I'm saying?
The only problem is by the time your papa house now becomes a place that you're uncomfortable, it becomes tricky.
But last at the end of the day, where can you go if like you're somewhere where everybody is kicking you out, right? The last place is at least let me go home and regroup first.
Facts. Let me first go home.
Let me go home first.
Let me relax.
Let me eat some amala first.
Exactly. Let me regroup in a place where they won't stress me. Then after that, I'll now come back. I 100% get you.
Oh, by the way, we've gone far enough, but you guys,
this is brought to you by these lovely people, these guys. So you can listen to the episode.
Yes.
You can watch the episode for those
on
of you
on Spotify because some people might not be hearing, seeing.
So you can see it, you can watch it. What else can you do? You can comment. Yeah, you can comment. You can leave a review. You can follow, you can like, you can share, you can repost. All these things are lovely things that when you do, it will give us a bit more comfort and stability while we're in this country so that we don't have to be, mistakenly buying poor fuel. We'll buy the clear fuel. But real talk. So,
okay.
Shout out to all the people.
Spotify.
Shout out to Spotify for making
and shout out
this.
to everybody that is behind the camera and making this.
Shout out to our crew. So I want to give my AP before we go.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say shout out to the person that sent me the 500 naira. for my 26th for my 26th birthday, someone sent me some money from, and I think because that was the only thing that made sense to me. That has to be what it is. I think someone was listening.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the person has listened on and now went back to the beginning, or if the person is legit just like starting up. Please, when you get here, thank you so much.
I know that's not even 1 liter or 4.
Thank you. Like back then, at least I could have bought like 2.
Back then.
This was in 2021.
Facts.
I could have bought like at least 2 liters
of
fuel.
There, like 120, 150 maybe. Yeah, that's actually something. At least you get like ever bottle.
Exactly. Exactly. You know.
But alas.
But yeah, shout out to the person. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Shout out to you. Mm-hmm. So my AP this weekend, I was watching this movie, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh.
Yeah, it was based on declassified documents from the Winston Churchill era.
Oh.
About how they basically used some off-the-record military officers to come towards the Niger area to help fight the Nazis at the time. So it was really beautiful. There was a bit of Yoruba in there. But what I did not like about that movie, before I say my AP, was at the end, when they were crediting, I did not see any black credits. And the movie made it look like the black people in that movie played a part. But then also, I get it. What I mean by credits is they spoke about the real people, the white people in the movie, and what they did and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't see any mention of the locals who helped them, like what actually happened to them after. And I felt like it was a bit of erasure there that I didn't like. But yeah, that was just by the way. Because Nigeria was there, that was what I was in. Like they were speaking Yoruba. Mad. This was before, But anyway, my AP is something Winston Churchill said. He's a divisive figure. Some people don't like him. He was a terrible person.
Was he?
Some people feel so.
I don't know.
But he did say success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
Period.
So for all of you who still believe in this country, for all of you who do not believe in this country, for all of you who are in difficult places in life or whatever, just remember, if you've attained success, that's great, but it's not final. If you failed, that's great, but that's sad, but it's not fatal. It's the courage to pick yourself up every day and continue and keep going and keep it pushing that counts. A simpler way of saying this is, now who give up, fuck up. So let's put it that way. Right? So yeah, that is, use that one to hold body this week.
All right. So you say you wanted to ask me some questions.
I do.
What's that?
I wanted us to talk about, what's it called now?
Self-forgiveness?
Yes, because it was
a hot topic in your therapy this week.
How did you know?
I mean, hey, at this point, I'm the mentalist.
Facts. So yeah, Reese, we've gotten there. We've gotten there now in therapy. And we're talking a bit about self-forgiveness, right? And it turns out that there's a lot that, I need to forgive myself for. And it's funny because it's a space before regret, right? It's just that space where you're like, this happened, damn. I don't regret it, but this happened, damn. You get, then it's when you're now done with it, damn, you're not like, shit, this was terrible. So that space of this happened, damn, self-forgiveness. It was a very heavy topic.
It is.
Because I realized that a lot of us, this our age, something happens to you and you forgive the other person, but you hold yourself to such a high standard that you're like, I can't believe you did this. Fuck you. I'll hold this against you. And blah, 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 blah. That kind of vibe. So yeah, I want to talk a bit about self-forgiveness. Tell me, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to self-forgive?
Yeah, for you. And why is it important?
I mean, it's important because for a lot of different things, right? I would say that one, you are a human being.
Facts.
You don't know everything.
Facts.
Right? And because you don't know everything, because you will make mistakes. And you can't, if you keep on holding yourself to that, it affects the way you see yourself, the way you view yourself.
True.
And like how you move forward. And also, I also think that like what I'm learning is that when you when you don't like, when you don't realize that you are an imperfect being. Because I think sometimes I even have to tell myself this sometimes about certain things. Like, let's say I made a mistake with somebody, right? What comes to my mind first of all is my intention. That's usually what comes first to me. Facts, because usually I don't go out of my way to hurt anybody, right? Although sometimes I might end up hurting somebody, but maybe that wasn't what I was trying to do. Yeah. It really, really wasn't. Maybe it was misunderstood. Maybe I went about it the wrong way. And then sometimes I'll now keep on harping on is, but I wasn't trying to do that. Like in my mind, I'm like, I wasn't trying to do that. Like I don't know. Can this person see that wasn't, that wasn't what it was. Like you just, but then I now reminded, something that I think God has been teaching me is that if you look at it that way, you would always, there is a pride that builds within you. Okay. Because if you don't recognize that, like, you are a person who can make mistakes, then you will always carry yourself like as though I'm perfect. You'll be a perpetual victim. Yeah, that's one. Facts. You never do anything wrong. It's never my fault. It's never your fault, right? Yeah. You never do anything wrong. It's never your fault. And then you also will not grow because you are still like harping on like, I remember someone that I used to. Well, we worked in the same office. Yeah, and there was something that happened where I made a mistake with something. And I was just telling him, I was like, oh my God, like, I don't like to disappoint people. And then he said, me, I do. He didn't say like he does, but he was pretty much like he doesn't, like he doesn't. It's not that deep. Yeah, like he was like, I mean, it happens. It's not like you go out of your way to disappoint people, but sometimes it just does. And when it does, you can't like be like, like I hate, and I've said it on this podcast many times. There are times when maybe something has happened and you guys will see that I'm like, oh my God, like it's I'm holding it in. Like it's so much in my body because like, and I'm just like learning that you just have to, that's you also holding unforgiveness towards yourself as well, because you're not recognizing that like, hey, you made a mistake, it's fine. I mean, it might not be fine, but just acknowledge that you made the mistake. Fair. And be done with it, and just move on from it. So this was like, for this thing, for therapy, right? This was the first thing that I had to learn at the first stage. It's like, it happened, blah, blah, blah. Tell yourself that, it happened, it was a mistake, you're not perfect and stuff. But where it got tricky was, let me even answer the question first off. Okay. So what does self-forgiveness mean for me? Well, to be honest, I think it's an essential part of life that a lot of people underestimate the importance of. Because if you don't actually forgive yourself, it's like the pink elephant thing we spoke about. But this is now from a position of self. There's just going to be this heavy bag that you're carrying around all the time. And you're like, why is this bag so heavy? It doesn't matter. It's heavy. And then you keep living life with just that heavy bag. So I think for me, self-forgiveness is about dropping that bag, especially when I'm the one that puts everything in that bag, right? It's like, oh, this person said this and I reacted this way and she took it this way. Damn, I'm such a fool. That kind of vibe, right? Or, okay, I wanted to, like, take, for instance, when I got scammed. It took me. It's not fun. No, now I can laugh about it. Now at this point. Now I can laugh about it. I know. It wasn't funny. It wasn't. I lost so much money that it made no sense. And why did I lose it? Pure greed. So, and you look at me and be like, you should know better than that. But alas. So I think self-forgiveness for me, from those kind of moments in my life, I was like, I need to actually remove all the things in this bag, right? And put them down, especially knowing that nobody is forcing me to keep them in this bag. I need to actually drop it and let go of the mistakes I've made. See myself, just like you said, see myself as human, right? See myself as flawed. And one problem I've had, I've held myself to such a high standard all my life that, you can tell me, okay, put it down and all that, you're flawed. But I'm like, no, I'm better than that. And then that keeps me in that hole where, like, I've still not forgiven myself. Yeah. And from conversations I've had with guys around me, I think there's an element of a guy thing to it. Pride and a little bit of ego, especially from the African side, where it's like, you should know better, you should do better, you should know better, you should do better. You know what I also think? Self-forgiveness masks itself very much. You don't think about it as you want to forgive yourself. So the way it comes across a lot of times is this, like, you you've done something wrong. Okay, like, man, I messed up, blah, 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 blah. And you don't realize, like, again, when, like, you were saying something like, you're telling, like, people are saying that it's okay, like, so you are not necessarily thinking about it like you are. When you don't deal with it, initially you might be upset with yourself about it. Okay, but then you have not dealt with it. You haven't sometimes we don't think that we should forgive. We're meant to forgive ourselves.
You think you can move on.
Yes.
And everything will be fine.
Yes. But you're not thinking about it like, man, I'm mad at myself. And the thing that happens with that is because you don't realize that you are mad at yourself, you project.
Facts.
So you project it on other people.
Facts.
You project it on other things. Facts. You understand?
Yeah,
you project it, and then you are now more upset as somebody for something. Yeah. And you don't know. Yeah. And that's why, like, it's until you sit down and take, like, stock. Because again, with the craziness of life, something happens, you carry on, you keep on going, and then life just continues to happen.
And then
you're not thinking about it.
Exactly. But now you wake up every day and you know that you're kind of sad. You wake up every day and you know that, okay, this thing happened. Yeah. Like, you acknowledge it, but you don't deal with it. Like you said, it's like, I wake up every day and I remember, I was scammed. Okay, it's fine, move on.
Yeah.
But it's like, why do you wake up every day constantly remembering that? It's because just like you said, it has masked itself into being another part of your day.
Yes, and then also, you told yourself, because there was something you said. You told you, because I remember then too.
Yeah.
Because you were always the money guy. And when I say the money guy, I mean that in terms of people always, Isaac.
Better.
Yes, Isaac will give advice on money, blah, blah, blah. And when it happened, I remember that first time when you told me, and I was like, it happened to you? And I think that reaction, right?
That was part of my mental problems.
Is one of those things where, like, you have held yourself. We don't like to see ourselves like as. We also sometimes might not like to see ourselves as flawed.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Or as this person.
Facts.
So when it now happens,
you're now like,
you're almost looking down on yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just don't want to admit.
That denial is key.
That denial.
That denial is beautiful because it's like, no.
That denial is crazy.
No, it's crazy.
That denial, like, I'll give you a good example. This one doesn't have anything to do with anything, but my reality, you guys, I love watching reality shows. I feel like it really, I'm telling you, you understand people, like, you don't see people.
Facts. You do see people. Facts.
There's one reality show called Love and Marriage Huntsville, right? So there's this, when it first started, there's this couple, good looking couple. Husband is handsome. Yeah. Wife is beautiful. At the time, they had like 3 kids when they had first started. But they had a problem.
Which was?
Now, what was the problem? Apparently, the husband had been having an affair for a while. Now, this wasn't like anything that was like suddenly like, she's on the show. It just came out.
They all knew before now.
It was an issue already.
Yeah.
Right? He was seeing this woman and he had been seeing her at this time, maybe it had been going on for a while. It was one of those things where...
I saw a good way of putting that. Somebody said things like this are well documented in the public space.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
So it's not news.
Anyway, long story short, after all the, blah, 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 eventually she divorced him, right? So now she divorced him. And she just seems to be one of those people who is driven. So as soon as, because they used to be in business together as well.
Yeah.
So as soon as she's divorced him, so now she's carrying on with her life, doing her own thing, making her own bread. Yeah. And because of what people saw her go through, people were more so lenient towards her because they felt like, that man put her through a lot.
Yeah.
The side chick is calling, saying all kinds of things on social media, that kind of thing. Him, I don't know. And I think this is what it was. Now that we're talking about self-forgiveness. I think so what I understand is he grew up without his father, right? And so he always wanted, he took pride in, I'm there for my kids. Like, I love my kids.
Yeah, that was the most important
and so he wanted to like keep like family together. Yeah. But then you messed up your family. Facts. And you did that.
Yeah.
You did that.
It was a you thing, yeah.
And there are times when you see like that moment of like acceptance, like, man, I messed it up. But then instantly, he's like, but why is everybody coming for me? It's like, her too. What was she doing?
Facts.
She was not doing...
That goes back to what you were saying. She was not doing...
You understand? And then what now happens with that is then he keeps on getting upset because then you see how she's doing well. And him, he's not... You can clearly tell that he's not really taking care of himself.
Yeah.
Because he is like...
He's still in his head about it.
He's in his head about it.
Yeah.
He misses his family.
Yeah.
but he cannot admit, or sometimes he will admit it, but then sometimes it's like, but was I the only one that was wrong? But he knows deep down. And it's like he hasn't because he doesn't want to acknowledge it. Yeah. He hasn't really forgiven himself.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't forgiven himself.
Facts.
He continues to remain bitter. And because he continues to remain bitter, he continues to just go around in the world just causing trouble. That guy is one of those type of guys that, if you were with guys in a circle, and maybe you guys were happy on him too much about it. He would just say, but I know you. You were having an affair. He's the kind of person that will bring out your business.
Facts. The defensive stuff. Side note, by the way, many months ago, years ago now, we're talking about how things that you're going through manifest in your body. Mm-hmm. So my therapist was telling me that over the course of our stuff, she has noticed that my shoulders have come down, and I feel I look better and I sound better.
You do. I told you that too.
And it makes a lot of sense. But you see, the moment we started this self forgiveness conversation, my shoulder went back up. I was tight. I was dismissive, and I was like, because now I'm aware of these things, I was like, okay, yeah, so there is a problem now. We do actually have to address it. Yeah. It's interesting. Anyway, next question. So do you think, right, we've already spoken about examples of, self-forgiveness and stuff. What do you think stops people? What are the barriers to self-forgiveness, right? For people our age? Obviously we've mentioned pride. We've mentioned things okay, being defensive. We've mentioned just denying it yourself and all that stuff. But what other things do you think stop people from self-forgiveness? Especially people our age. I have one that I think can help. So, lack of self-compassion. Right? Lack of self-compassion. So now, personally, I'm not the kind of person who talks to myself negatively. In fact, I think one problem I have is the way I talk to myself is so positive, it borders on delusion. I think I'm the shit. I tell myself I'm the shit regularly. I've never been one who has negative self-talk or low self-esteem or any of that stuff. But I think a lot of people, in my experience and also from doing this, I found that, just like you started off saying, a lot of people, when they do things, they have this situation where they're like, oh, I made this mistake. You're a fool. It's your fault. It's because you're terrible. Oh, you made this mistake before. That. You do?
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to myself. Kinda.
You really should. I think that's one. Another thing I think is not to move into something extreme and say BDSM now, but I think a lot of people do.
I want to see where this is. I want to see how this
let me try it.
Or some people like to torture themselves.
Yes,
right.
Some people like to sit. Right. Some people like to sit in this. The light way of saying it is wallow in self-pity and self-forgiveness and self-punishment. But I think for some people, it's slightly more. It's more okay, this is me. I made this mistake. Let me sit here and talk about how terrible I am. How much of a terrible person I am. How stupid I am for making this mistake. I'm not going to talk to anybody about it, but I'm going to wake up every day and constantly revel in the fact that I made a mistake and I'm a fool and I'm a bad person.
So, something?
Also, I didn't want this conversation
I would say this. I told you, there's no way. Yeah. So this is the thing. For me, right, I would say that a lot of the time, and I realized this, that I put a lot of value in my actions as a person.
Fair.
As opposed to the fact that you are valuable all by yourself. I like this analogy. A lot of people have used it many times, but I saw it again recently, and I don't know, it made me cry. But the man is showing a 10-pound note, right? And then he squeezes it, and then he says, and I don't know why, because like I've said, I've heard it so many times. I've seen it so many times, but I think it stuck because it was just it's true. If I take this 10 pound and I use it to buy something, you will buy the thing. They will give me.
Facts.
In fact, some people will take it a little bit ton.
Facts. Facts. If it's bike man half ton, it will take it.
Right. And I just put value in those actions. And so when I would do something wrong, I don't know, it felt like I'm supposed to, okay, I used to tell someone this, that I feel like I don't deserve good things. I don't know why. I think it's just one of those horrible mentalities and mindsets that stuck when I hate it. I'm unlearning that nonsense. And it even, to be honest, it has put a block sometimes between me and my relationship with God many times. Fair. Many times. Because, and I always used to say this, one of my favorite things to say about God now is I always say that, God, your love is incomprehensible to me. Like, I don't understand it. Fair. And I don't understand it. Why? Because what do you mean, like, you love me just like that? I don't get that. Because what we know as human beings is you treat someone this way. Yeah. And then, but when you treat them any kind of way, like, it's like, you understand? And even like with parents, like growing up, you do something, they're offended at you, and then they just don't really, my mom, she's one of those ones when we're younger. She can just almost give you like a silent treatment, or almost just give you like that. You understand what I'm saying? Even when you're asking her for something, you can tell that she's still upset. That thing. And but then you're now telling me that God is not like that, and I'm confused, right, about that. And even when it comes to forgiveness, I can ask God for forgiveness for one thing. Even like let's say like I said something mean to you, and I come out of here, or maybe even instantly, I say, "Man, God, I'm so sorry. Like that was not necessary." I will go home. I'll say, God, I'm really sorry about that. Like, that wasn't necessary. I'll go to church on Sunday. And you still say, Lord, I'm so sorry for that action. Because in my mind, I have to keep on, I'm punishing, like, I have to keep on saying it again and again. This is subtle
BDSM, but to yourself.
Yes.
Like, you're constantly like beating yourself.
Do you remember? I don't know, do you watch Da Vinci's Code?
Exactly. Also, side note. Side note. Have you ever thought about how sometimes, not to make this sexual, but sometimes your passions and things that you like and all those stuff, when you're in a different space in life, it changes, right?
I mean, I'm like, sure.
Yeah. So like, let's say when you're in a position where you're like, basically where I'm going is this. I was talking again in therapy about stuff like habits, right? And switching habits and stuff like that. And I was saying that one thing I've always had in the past, and I think like if I ever become extremely wealthy, I might end up doing is, those people who go to dungeons just to let loose. Because it's like
you want to do it.
It's not like I want to do it, but the path I was charting before might have ended up there if I was rich. Those ones that like, this is a multi-millionaire CEO that you just find him at some you just find him at some house chained up and it's like, flog me.
My God, let me tell you, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Isaac.
It is a real thing.
Isaac, I'm sorry. I'm just
because it's like, my life is so difficult. Let me come here, just flog me or something.
When I was talking, when I was saying how much I love Danny Glover's
the show.
He has Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
And then I've watched it, finished it. But then I was watching someone react to it, I've been watching someone react to it on YouTube, and I completely forgot about this, but there's an episode where there is a babe, and like the babe, like, so they are in Paris or something. Yeah. And the babe, she's living it up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, as she's having money, she's enjoying herself. Yeah. And then she pretty much says that, that she, like, there are some guys that she, I think she pees on them or something like that.
Fair.
Anyway.
Fair.
The scene I was seeing in my head was that one of the people that she was talking to was so intrigued by that. Like, what do you mean you just want to pee on somebody and then they give you all this money? So at the end of the episode, she decides to do it. So she just goes, the guy, they spread the kidney on the floor. The guy, like, she takes her pants down and then she just starts to pee on him. And in fact, the guy asked her when she came in, like, do you want like more a water, drink? So she said, "Nah, don't worry. I've had like two. And then you just see her, so you obviously don't see but you are seeing her face. She's just peeing on him, and the pee is going on for long. You're just hearing the liquid just go down. At some point, the guy is almost beginning to drown.
That's nasty on every count. See, where I'm going, I don't know if you watch Billions, right? But in Billions, right, season 1 and 2, Chuck Rhodes, right, he was into that. So Chuck is this high-flying lawyer that, his whole thing is bringing down billionaires and stuff. But
so he wants to be brought down.
Exactly, in his life, it was like that. But the funny thing was, if you watch further seasons, you sort of understand the psychological side of it, which as I'm getting older sort of makes sense, which is why I'm like, that was actually where I was going.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like sometimes there's so much going on, and then that might just be your way of saying, you know what, I do so much to myself. Let me just have something done to me.
That's unfortunate.
No, it's not unfortunate. It's a lucrative thing.
I mean, it's lucrative for a person who's making the money.
Yeah, but it's also,
but like,
it's not like you're doing anything wrong.
I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. That's why I said it's unfortunate for you as a person, how you see yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think when you were saying that, what do you think is the barrier to it? I think ultimately that's what it comes down to. It's how you see yourself. It's how you value yourself.
True.
Because if you value yourself high enough, and I'm saying this as someone who is learning to value herself, right? But if you value yourself to a certain degree and understand that, like, you are fine, like, we, especially in living in a country like Nigeria now, we are always told in so many different ways that, like, unless you have this, you are not valuable. We know that in Nigeria, unless you have a certain amount of money, you are not valuable. And then that changes from in different places wherever you go. I mean, in most places it's money. Right, they say money makes the world go round. And then it also now depends on, like, so many other things. It could come down to, like, different things. For example, I think I was telling you last week about the man on Daiso on Zikoko who is like a house husband. So then you have this idea of, like, okay, am I more valuable at home? Do you understand? Like, how am I being seen?
I'm hashtag team house husband, by the way. Hashtag team house husband.
Anyway, I always wonder how that would look like if you were actually one, because husband.
If I had enough money,
well, that's
the most important thing.
You see what it is again, exactly.
Like, I'm okay. I'm actually okay if. So now here's the thing: my definition of enough money is not like I'm making more than my wife for.
No, I'm not saying that, but like you have money to take care of yourself. But you see what I'm saying.
I get you. Like, at the end of the day, if I can foot the bill and then, I know, like, I'm doing this because I genuinely just want to.
Yeah.
Then
so that's what it is. It's how you view yourself. If you value yourself and realize that, like, without any of the extras, without anything else, just you being, is value in and of itself. Yeah. Then you find it easier to forgive yourself and even treat other people better. Because when you realize that you are valuable, then you begin to see that other people are valuable too.
True.
And so you are able to take accountability when you are wrong. You are able to say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. You're able to even accept. If someone is not ready to forgive you, you're able to accept it without feeling a certain kind of way. Because I've seen some people, this happens a lot. Again, on reality show, they will do something wrong. They will tell the person they are sorry. The person is not ready. Like, the person doesn't feel like, and then they get upset that the person is not ready to let it go. I'm trying to let it go with the person. My person is not letting it. Not remembering that forgiveness is a gift that someone can decide to give you.
Side note, just on what you said.
So give that gift to yourself.
No, I will. I should, and I think more people should. And a side note of this whole thing is, like, one thing that people sometimes do is they don't think, like you mentioned, they don't think they're deserving of love. So it's like, oh, I offended you and you've forgiven me, but have you really? And then I now start looking inwards and I'm like, have you really?
Yes.
Like, if it was me, would I? So I start looking at it from your perspective and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very interesting place that a lot of people are in. Because it's like, okay, this thing happened, right? Maybe it's a friendship that left or a job or something. Forgive yourself. Okay, fine. The person now forgives you, but you're still there like, you've not forgiven me, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't deserve this your forgiveness. I must still go through all this until I believe that I am worthy of your forgiveness.
Yes. So then that's when you now overcompensate. Exactly. You think that if you do this and this and this and this, that it will now suddenly...
It's actually terrible. Anyway, let's see. How do you think, like... I think we've touched on it a bit, but, like, how do you think, like, self-forgiveness impacts, like, your friendships, your relationships, and, mental health?
When you're able to forgive yourself more, you probably are able to forgive other people more. When you're able to realize that, like, again, you are a human being who has made some mistakes, then you're able to give other people more grace, right, with their mistakes. Not to say that you just suddenly just accept any and everything, but just saying that, like, I think you find it easier to forgive when, again, you value yourself and, like, you're a forgiving person to yourself.
True.
Because then when you recognize that I'm a flawed human being, so you also recognize that these other people are flawed as well. I can't hold them to a different standard than I'm holding myself. So even if someone does something wrong, whatever it is, whether it's a big or a small thing, you are able to say, okay, you might not want to even be friends with the person anymore, which is fine, but you're able to, like, really say that, okay, I think I've let this go. Like, I'm not holding it to the person. Facts. I know this person did whatever they did for whatever reason they did it, but I don't want to be their friend anymore. but like it's okay. I still value them as human beings, and
that took a lot of maturity for me to get to. Because before I used to be I wouldn't say vindictive, but I used to hold things. Like if somebody said something, I'll be like, nah, that's cool. But in my head, I'm like, nah, it's on site in 10 years' time. Yeah. Like, you know that guy, there was a video where the guy was like, don't sleep. I'm coming. I'm in your neighborhood. I've not forgotten. Like, that's sort of like how I used to be before.
Yeah.
But then I think as I got older, I realized that I was carrying again. This bag was just too heavy. Sometimes I put things there. Sometimes I'm putting things for other people. And I'm like, bruh, like, let me drop this bag. Like that kind of vibe.
So I that's one of the reasons why I think forgiveness is so important. Like, I think whenever like I talk about forgiveness and everything, obviously, I always talk about it from like a Christian perspective, which, regardless, like I think it still applies.
Fair.
But I think that that's also one of the reasons why it is there, because like when you learn to forgive other people, then you feel more okay within yourself. You feel more free to live in a way. So which is why like you have to let that weight go and let that hurt go. Because when you let it go, you just have more accommodation for more love. You even if you don't recognize that you're holding on to it, because I think you've told me something before that, I might not have forgiven you, but like I just go about my day. It's not like it's interrupting my day. Yeah. But like you said, it's always a pink elephant. So, it's always there.
So now, good point. Because on this stuff, like I was going to say, part of the things that it really does help with, like you mentioned, as a person, it helps you to just build resilience. Normal. It also helps you to like have like improved, like reduced stress levels. You just feel better as a person, and the quality of your friendships are better. But you see this thing about like, oh, I've not forgiven you, but it's there and I've moved on. One of the biggest things that we had to overcome in my initial weeks was my compartmentalizing.
I love it.
It took us a while to break it down. And the reason why I talk about this openly is because I mentioned when I was starting and why. So to the point now that when we did finally break my compartmentalizing stuff, I was like, I didn't think this thing was affecting me before, but it turns out that it is. Because I'm the kind of person, right? Just like you said, if you offend me, but we're doing something together, I focus on the bigger picture. I've not forgiven you. I've not forgotten. But I'm focusing on the bigger picture. Like we have something that we need to do together, let's solve it. Or if, let's say, I'm at work and I'm in a disagreement with like a colleague or something, I'm always the kind of person that I'll be like, okay, you know what? In this particular moment, I'll tell myself, in this particular moment, this thing has pissed me off. But what's the best way to address this now? Okay, let me move past it. Let me solve this problem. Let's do this and let's do what we have to do together and focus on that. But what that kept doing for me over the years was, when it does come to time, because I'm also not the kind of person that shies away from confrontation, but when it does come to time for confrontation, I come with more, like I bring a knife to a gun. No, I bring a gun to a knife fight. Because I'm like, like what tipped me over the edge today is what you did today. However, in the last 6 months, you've been doing, and so it now sort of, you now end up in a position where it now looks like you're gaslighting because they're like, but this is not about that.
So now that tells you, and that lets you know that you're holding everything.
Facts.
Because if it's not really affecting you, then you won't even bring it up in this situation now.
So now this is another tricky thing. It's not like it was affecting me or not affecting me, because it's more like I've packed all this and now there's an opportunity for confrontation, so I'm bringing everything out. Do you get? The thing is, sometimes, you've offended me in the past or whatever, but let's focus on this issue. The thing I used to struggle having sometimes was, I know we're focusing on this issue, but for me, I'm like, let's just focus on everything at once. Whether or not you're ready for that is not my problem. But remember that you've been offending me for so long, so let's bring everything to the fore now and handle it. So it was sort of a problem, but when we finally spoke and she was like, okay, this is why, that is why, and I was like, okay, this is the impact of my bad habit on other people and on my relationships. I think it was from that moment that I genuinely started to feel the stress leave my body.
But I genuinely feel like sometimes, and like you said, you even just said it for me. Like, I feel like it's not just always on other people. It's also on you. Because like you just said, you felt the stress leaving your body.
Oh, facts.
And that's what it is. Like, you might not think that it's doing anything, but it's, again, this great analogy that has been said so many times. But it's like, you have been hit somewhere and then you're just bleeding everywhere. It's true. You are just going about your day.
Your head because it's from your back, like allow it.
Do you understand? Like, I remember, let me tell you a funny story. Have I told you the story of this car? I feel like I told everybody the story of this car.
No, how did you get it?
This story.
What happened?
It's a very funny
I don't think
story.
you told me.
So, wait. That's two, right? And I was sleeping up bunk.
Okay.
And one night, it was dark. And I don't know. I guess the dream was intense. I don't know what was going on. But I kind of like just rolled over. I fell flat. Now let me tell you the funny thing. Let me tell you the funny thing. Again, remember there was no light. So at this point, when it happened, I wasn't really thinking like I was sleeping.
Yeah.
So I just stood up and went back to sleep. I just stood up, climbed back the bed, and went back to sleep. So now I wake up in the morning, and then at this particular time, I'm telling you, I don't know.
Embarrassing. I'm sorry.
Then I used to, the duvet cover. I think I had washed it or something, so it was just the white. I just wake up and I see blood. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's happening? I forget. I'm not like, okay, so that was not a dream.
Wait. You felt it.
I thought I was dreaming. Like, I thought it was a dream.
You know why this is so embarrassing? Because, bro, you're in SS2.
Guy, I know. And then this place was open. Like, that was the first time they stitched it. Let me tell you, I was not so embarrassed because, like, was it that? I think it was SS2. They now had to put, so they stitched it and took a bandage. Around that time, I was even coming to your school. I don't think this was my habit. I was not feeling, when you're SS.
Insecure. You're so insecure. Bitch,
like,
I know the worst thing. Nigerian nurses, they always make those bandages so fat.
Why are they making? Why does it have to look like that?
Was he brown?
Of course now. Anyway, I brought up that story. It's such a funny story to me. Like, it's so funny.
Oh my God, that's so wild. Because why is he brown? It's not like bulky.
No, it's okay. But the point I was making in bringing up this story was, it was the same. Like me, I went back to sleep thinking that all was fine.
Yeah, fair.
All is well. Meanwhile, I was bleeding everywhere.
There was damage that was done. Fair.
Do you understand? Fair, that's what happens when, like, you might think that you're just powering through life, but it's there. You're bleeding somewhere.
Now you're cranky. Now you're always dismissive. Now you're.
I've spoken to somebody who was affected by something.
Yeah.
Right. And when they were. So let's say like something similar was going on, and they were trying to like say, oh, like just let it go. Like see the way I was able to let it go. And then they now bring up like all the ways that they are hurt and how they are hurting other people about it. And in my mind, I was like, I don't know if this person is here. Yeah. You just said that this thing that affected you, you are low-key like putting it on other people. Yeah. But you don't realize it because like, and
I mean, that's crazy. Anyway, to go, Sha, any tips like for people who are, struggling to forgive themselves?
Well, I would say that,
or anybody who is struggling with like letting go of mistakes or past failures. I know one very popular failure for a lot of people like us is people always think, oh, why did I come back to this country?
Well,
but yeah, just any
like
tips?
Choice, so
any tips?
Well, I would say that, first of all, is just to understand like what your value is. First of all, find value in who you are as a person, just as yourself.
Yeah, that's very important.
And it might take some unlearning and relearning. I'm definitely like unlearning some things and, relearning some things. But you just take that time and then, how to like value yourself. If you're like a Christian, someone, you have to remember and see value in who God has said that you are and take pride in that and be okay with that and receive that, like truly receive it, because sometimes you can give love to somebody and they don't know how to receive it.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And it's a thing.
It's a very
it's a thing. You might think that you're being I'm just being, but if you don't know how to receive it, then and someone can be giving you all the love, but the trauma and whatever it is blocking you from. So receive that, and then when you find that value in yourself, I think, and find your value in God, I think that it changes everything. I think it changes how
what of for people who don't.
That's why I said that find value in yourself.
Okay.
Understand that you are valuable. Just by being you are valuable.
You know what's funny? Before I chose my therapist, I had to interview her on that.
No, of course. I think it's good to interview your therapist.
Where's your stance on religion? Because I'm not trying to be getting Bible passages, that kind of vibe.
I don't think they usually just
no. But there could be If you're a Christian, it can.
Yes, it's true. There are therapists that
it was an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah. If I have it, there was a time when I did a little bit of therapy, and they asked like, would you also want like a faith-based?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll actually be good with that.
Fair.
I want to hear like from.
No, I get that. For me, it was a hard no. Like I did not want a faith-based, and I think it was a good choice for me, sure. But to add to what you said, I think I would say what I'm telling everybody now: seek help, seek professional help if you can afford it. No, like that. If you can afford it, if you can't afford it, I think the first step is fully, like you said, acknowledging like the value in yourself, acknowledging that you as a person you are worthy of be it love, be it good things, just like you deserve and you're worthy of good things. Then learn and unlearn. Most importantly, and this goes to literally every Nigerian, learn how to receive love. I think it's very important. And I don't mean love as in somebody buys you an iPhone or something like that. No, I mean like genuinely learn how to receive and be okay with love. And not love that is, by love, I mean, excuse me, I think things that are not grand gestures, things that are not like huge, like genuinely learn how to receive love. That would definitely help, because when you do learn how to receive love and you see what love looks like, it helps you to push that inwards, to forgive yourself and all that stuff. Talk. That's very important. A lot of people don't talk enough about what's going on in their head. Remember the guest we had last time, before we went on the break, when I was talking and he was like, he can't believe a guy is saying this about mental health. And I'm like, that's part of our problems. So learn to talk, learn to seek guidance. One thing I've learned really in life is know your why. So when something happens that really messes you up, understand why. Take time to really reflect. Oh, I hurt this person. Why? Oh, this thing happened and I was really upset and it made me do this. Why?
Because there's always a reason.
There has to be. So you should, at every point, understand your why. And then, finally, this one that I wrote here, because I've started practicing it.
Okay.
Mindfulness and journaling.
Okay.
Right? They both help you to, remove, remove your thoughts, declutter your mind.
So I don't like journaling. It's Why? So weird, because of the time I used to do it so much. I think, I don't know what it is. I would just talk to myself like a crazy person. For real, I will have like a full-on conversation with myself. Like that's what I'd rather do. I want to hear myself. To the camera, or like, is she real? or I will like record it on like I'll record
voice notes.
Yeah. I'll record like what I'm thinking or what's going on in my head. Fair. Because sometimes it's hard to like really say what it is, because maybe I'm too distracted by like the pen and the paper.
Fair.
So I might just like...
On that, I 100% see that. I was looking at my journal from when I started to now. The initial things I used to journal, my mind was in 100 places at once. I was writing all over the place.
Yes.
I'm finishing one thought and another one I've started. And so even looking at that I was happy to see that
I like that. From that. That's a good thing. I think my issue with journaling comes mostly from my own critique of my own writing ability. Because I think
you're a writer. So,
yes. So I think because of that, like I'll feel like if it's all over the place like that, I would start to criticize myself too much. Like, is it not supposed to look it? Or I feel under pressure every time I'm writing something to make it like
look good.
How it's so I'm trying to get out of that space even, because I would still like to like do stuff with writing.
From that angle, it makes sense about the journal.
Because my thoughts are always like all over the place. So that's why you just hear me like just that's
the crazy thing about journaling though that I have noticed is like I said, when I started, I could not keep a train of thought initially. Again, because I was just trying to declutter my mind as I'm thinking, I'm writing. And then it sort of made sense as to why I was struggling to sleep and all those things. Because it's like, why do you have like 5,000
so many things
thoughts
going on in your
mind? Like, it is so mad. And then, this thing they say about meditation? The most difficult, like people underestimate how difficult.
Oh yeah, it's so difficult.
Have you ever tried to just sit still and hold a thought for 10 seconds? It is so hard. 10 seconds in, I'm already seeing a TikTok of somebody talking or something. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Leave that focus, come back. The next 20 seconds, man, you just lost. Like, okay, wait, hold on. Like, holding a thought is so difficult. And even I tried at some point to talk into a voice note. Same thing. I would start off here, and 5 minutes later I'm here, 10 minutes later I'm here, and it's like, but the conscious effort of constantly like writing and all that stuff. Now, it's not like the train of thought is one way through, but maybe it's just like 2 or 3 at a time. Whereas before it's like, this is happening, that's happening, this is happening. So I would always recommend journaling.
Yeah.
And really, 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 you guys should try to practice self-compassion exercises.
Okay, like?
Yeah, so wake up every day, and I know it might sound cringe, but wake up every day and understand truly that you are a human and you're flawed. Look in the mirror and speak positively to yourself. I think that one is very cringe when you talk about it. It's very cringe in the initial stages of practicing it, but as time goes on, it does get better. Right?
You just be forgetting. That's the thing. After a while, you're just like, oh, okay.
Like, imagine you wake up and you're like, you have to tell yourself, yeah, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's
like, it does happen many times. Or maybe I'll be telling myself, then I'll different things when I wake up. Then at some point, I'll just get lazy. I will just look and I'm like, yeah.
Just impressed food.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yes to that. So all of a sudden, it now seems like hard work. But it is hard work to work on yourself and become like a better version of you.
Facts. I think the easiest person to neglect is yourself.
Oh yes, facts.
The easiest
that
person
is so
to
true.
neglect is yourself. So
that is so true.
It's important for you to practice self-compassion.
Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. You can't
give
people
from
always say yes, and that's why, one day when I thought about love your neighbor as yourself,
it makes sense.
It pretty much was also saying love yourself, because if you had to love your neighbor as yourself, how do you love your neighbor as yourself? You have to love yourself first, and then love your neighbor the way you love yourself.
Facts. You know something about the Bible, regardless of my stance, I think there are a lot of things that are quotables that do make sense.
Not quotables.
No, real, and they make sense. And one thing I'm learning as you get older is a lot of things will make sense as you get older. Initially, you can fight them and all that stuff, but certain lessons, they can't teach you. It doesn't matter how many times they tell you, oh, love yourself and love yourself,
experience to teach you.
Experience to teach you. The day you realize I've been talking to myself badly, I've been treating people badly, and then you're like, why am I doing this? Then you switch it. You genuinely see a switch in your life.
You have to, and I wanted to add as well that you have to have like a humble heart. Having a humble heart is so underrated, but it is so important.
Fact, actually.
Because it's when you have a humble heart that you're able to be receptive to your wrong actions. You are able to even learn new things, because like your heart is like truly like just wanting to know, okay, like I did this wrong. I'm really, that's where you don't get a person saying, I'm sorry for if that's how you feel.
There's nothing I love more than that. Like, well, if you feel that way, I'm sorry, but that's not what I
hate it so much. I hate it so much.
It takes a lot.
Just don't tell me sorry.
It takes a lot of
and it's humility, because like it's the pride that is still making you say that because you just don't want to admit that
it takes a lot of humility to be like, I'm genuinely sorry.
I am genuinely sorry. I messed up.
You see that and this is not what you said, but I said sorry. Well, sorry if you feel that way. I can't lie, that thing does my head in. Because I'm like, okay, let's fight.
No, to be honest, I didn't want to fight before, but now I want to fight.
How can you look at me and tell me, oh, well, sorry if you feel that way?
I feel that way. Is that not what we were talking about?
Do you know the worst people that do that? It's like when you're like, have you ever had a reason to call a HR customer service? Those are the worst people.
Oh my God. I remember
especially
when they will say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
And I'm like, you left me on the line for 20 minutes.
I remember telling some people that I was arguing with. Let me tell you, I can genuinely tell, me, I'm a customer service. I feel like there's something to this. I'm gonna have to do something. But I hate bad customer service so much. Jesus Christ. Now, I can genuinely tell when someone over the phone is trying to help me. Even if they can't really do anything. Facts. You can almost tell. But then when someone is just repeating the same. I remember telling somebody one time, I say, you're not sorry for this. I say, you're not sorry. You're not sorry, because if you were sorry, you will help me.
See, just like a final thing on this, right? The thing that really annoys me is, oh, hi, this is my problem. All right, let me just put you on hold. I'll be right back. 5 minutes later. So this is my problem. Can you actually? So let me just put you on hold. I'll be right back. 15 minutes later, I am so sorry for this inconvenience, but like, let me put you on hold. I'll be right. It's like, are you trying to are you trying to annoy me? Like, I hate when I have to like listen. And you know that sound, the Nigerian customer service sound, is borderline irritating.
Jesus Christ.
And then at the end of it, I'm now having to hear, oh, please, can you pick a language you want to address us in? English. Next thing is like, okay, I'm waiting 20 minutes. You know what? I'm just going to pick Yoruba. I pick Yoruba. I'm waiting another 20 minutes. Like, can we just... Anywho's, that's for today. Before we go, we hope you guys have learned something a little bit. Even those of you here, we hope you have learned something a little bit. We're making sense. I hope we will.
I hope so.
So,
nonsense.
Song recommendations before we go. So we have Radio 30 on Spotify and on every platform that you listen, where we journal our music tastes and songs that we think you should listen to every week. It's a really good playlist, if I say so myself. You really should check it out. I think I'm a budding A&R, in case anybody is looking. I'm a man of many skills, so I'm a budding A&R. So my song recommendations for today. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Do you remember that song? Wyclef.
So sometimes the way you sing a song,
it sounds off.
I might not even know, like I might know the song, but because of the way you say, I don't now know the song.
Listen, I could have been on The Voice and I'd have won.
Because this is sounding familiar, but I don't know the way you are singing.
You know what? No, I'll look for it. But you should know it now. Is
that okay? Is that
no? That's not the only one. Okay. Let me see.
By who?
Wyclef and some lady. No disrespect, I can't remember her name now. I'm going to play it because legally we can for a bit. I can't believe you don't. You should know this song.
I might know it, so play it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm under pressure.
But if I don't know it, I won't know. Let me hear. Okay, let's hear.
I'm coming.
Okay, beginning sounding familiar.
Yeah.
It's sounding familiar.
You see?
I knew I would know it. I know the song.
So there's that one. The other one is...
is the name called 2 Wrongs Don't Make It Right?
Yeah, it's called 2 Wrongs. Hey, wait, is it Don't Make It Right or just
because
2 wrongs?
This is something that you do.
Wrongs.
I think you will sing a line of a song.
Sorry, and I'll think it's the name.
I would think
this is why they've not hired me as A&R yet. This is why they've not hired me. But it's called 2 Wrongs. The other one is Florence and the Machine. Okay. Cornflake Girl. Okay. Very, very beautiful song. Preferably the acoustic version.
Okay.
And then finally, I found this lady yesterday that has changed my life.
Ooh.
Her name is Umo Sangare. She's a Malian singer, Fulani descent. And the song is called Mogoya. She's like, at first I thought it was Yoruba she was speaking, but it turns out not. Also, a lot of those languages sound the same somehow. But it's a really beautiful song. And while I kept listening to her, I realized Beyonce sampled her for that Mood Forever song.
Okay.
Yeah, she was sampled for the
What
Mood
language do
Forever
Malians
song.
speak?
Don't put me under pressure. I don't know. Mali?
It's not Mali.
Actually, that's a good question.
Let me Google
check.
it.
What
What language? Not the other Malians.
Malians. Is it French? That's
what I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, that was my assumption that they might speak French.
I mean, I know they'll have their local. Okay, so the official.
Shout out to our Malian.
Official language is Bambara.
Yeah, I can
Soninke
see.
language.
Hassania, Tamashek.
You see, they speak Fula.
What's
makes
Fula?
sense.
Fulani.
I guess.
You don't even know. You're saying they speak Fula. I can see no, you know.
No, I mean, in fair, I mean, it's most likely Fulani.
Okay, cool. Shout out to her.
She's beautiful.
Shout out to everybody from Mali.
You guys should check her out. Her name is Umo Sangare.
Okay, my song recommendations are Pills and Potions by Nicki Minaj. What happened?
Oh, no, nothing.
Oh, okay, sorry. Pills and Potions by Nicki Minaj.
That's the love,
has a lot of... I think she gave a lot of good advice on that song.
Yeah.
I listened to it again recently and like...
It made sense, Abby.
I was like, man, there's so much.
Yeah. She still loves...
One of the things she said is people will love you and support you when it's beneficial.
Oh, of course.
I will forgive, I won't forget, but I will dead the issue.
That was me.
Right?
That was me.
Then the next one is Invisible by Jimmy the Psalmist.
Okay.
And Yes by Karen Clark Sheard.
Jimmy the Psalmist. Sounds like somebody I like.
Jimmy D in the letter D.
Okay. And then the last one?
Yes. Called Yes by Karen Clark Sheard. Sheard.
Oh, fair. Okay. So on that note, guys, we have come to the end of this very, very fantastic episode of Road to 30.
Yeah.
Episode 244.
Yeah.
Again, we are looking for rock stars to
So
join our team. It's so weird to say. Like, HRN is so cringe. But yeah, we're looking for rock stars to join our team. And shout out to Spotify. And
shout out to Spotify
that have made this possible. Shout out to all of you.
Yes, shout out to everybody.
All our crew that have made this possible.
We appreciate you guys so much.
We appreciate you guys so much. It means a lot. Especially the man behind the camera. I have to give him extra credit.
Woo! See, yeah.
Self-love. Learn how to take love. But yeah. Road to 30 podcast everywhere you listen. And we'll see you guys next time.
Odabo.
Bye.